Now at 5, how a Southwest Missouri organization is helping connect veterans with health care benefits. Plus, Kansas Department of Agriculture hosts a meeting to discuss a planned flood insurance rate map. And
the FBI is ramping up its investigation following a deadly raid that left one Utah man dead. I'm Skyler Henry in Washington, detailing the threats he made towards top officials in the midst of heightened political polarization.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Homeless Coalition of Jasper and Newton counties hosted a networking event for anyone struggling with homelessness. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Twice a year, the coalition hosts Project Homeless Connection with multiple area vendors and services. Those services include legal aid, employment programs, veteran benefits, and more. Members of the community who are struggling with housing say this networking event connects them to friendly and understanding resources.
Society is not very friendly to people that are less fortunate, and that's probably one of the biggest obstacles that are out here. Thank God for organizations like House Inc. and
the next Project Homeless Connection is planned for January. A health insurance company is making sure Kansans with disabilities have access to dental care. Aetna donated $30,000 to Oral Health Kansas Inc.'s Pathways to Oral Health program. The program looks to increase dental care for people with disabilities by training professionals on the specific needs of those people. Kansas Department of Agriculture today gave residents in southeast Kansas a chance to learn about plans for a new flood insurance rate map. They hosted a meeting at the Erie Public Library where local flood experts could discuss how the new map would impact personal property. An updated map could determine whether someone should get flood insurance and just how much it would cost.
More accurate topography, helps create more accurate floodplain maps, because being more accurate within a foot of the ground elevation is a lot more accurate than the older maps that are still effective, that are within like 10 feet or so of the actual elevation. So really we're trying to bring more accurate floodplain mapping.
The new floodplain map won't go into effect until 2025. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice Thursday for us today after the showers and thunderstorms that we had yesterday. Temperature is pretty good for us today. Upper 80s to near 90 degrees. We're at 87 in Nevada, 89 in Neosho, Welch at 90 in Parsons, but it looks like a pretty good evening. Now, unfortunately, the heat is increasing again, so heat advisories are in effect for the entire region as we go into Friday. But as of right now, we look fine. Pretty much clear skies, not too much is going on across the Central Plains, so it looks nice throughout the evening. We'll slide back through the 80s into the 70s as we go through the overnight hours tonight. So if you want to get outside, definitely enjoy the temperatures. Now, we do have chances for thunderstorms back in the forecast, plus the heat. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
See you soon. The fierce winds appear to have died down somewhat in Hawaii, but the battle against wildfires in Maui is not over. Since Tuesday, at least 36 people have been killed and more than 270 structures are burnt to the ground. The fire spread too fast for help to reach the western town of Lahaina. Much of it is now destroyed. The wind-whipped flames engulfed the historic community yesterday, wiping out homes, businesses, and hotels. The Hawaii Department of Transportation has gotten more than 11,000 travelers out of Maui. It's not clear exactly how the fires erupted. FBI agents fatally shot a Utah man yesterday morning while trying to serve search and arrest warrants. The man, Craig D. Robertson, had made multiple threats, they say, on social media against politicians. This comes as political tensions in America are already high. Reporter Skyler Henry has more details now from Washington.
The FBI is still investigating the deadly shooting of a Provo, Utah man. Craig D. Robertson was killed while FBI agents were serving him a warrant early Wednesday morning.
Some medical professionals looked at him for like a couple minutes, but pretty soon it was clear he was gone.
The FBI had been investigating Robertson for 5 months after he made multiple social media posts threatening President Joe Biden. He also made threats against politicians, leading investigations into former President Donald Trump, including Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg and U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, as well as more than 24 threats against Vice President Kamala Harris. CBS News consultant A.T. Smith is a former Secret Service deputy director.
In terms of extreme, this is about as extreme as you can get in a threat.
Political polarization has remained high in the U.S. following the January 6th attack on the Capitol after the 2020 presidential election.
It certainly doesn't stop with this one individual. There are a lot of people out there that probably have these same thoughts and feelings, and I have never in my career and 30 years of law enforcement, whether I was in Washington or in the field, like in New York City, seen it to this extreme.
But the violence isn't limited to the U.S. 59-year-old Ecuadorian presidential candidate Fernando Villavicencio was fatally gunned down following a rally in the capital of Quito. Ecuador's president blames the assassination on organized crime, saying it was meant to sabotage an election in less than 2 weeks. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
The U.S. presidential election process is already underway. There was more court action in Florida in former President Trump's classified documents case. Mr. Trump, as well as his personal valet, pleaded not guilty to new charges while his property manager had his arraignment postponed. The new charges are in connection with allegations that all 3 co-defendants tried to hide security footage from the special counsel's office. Still ahead, some prices back on the rise.
Inflation rose slightly last month. I'm Michael George with why some say that bump isn't really bad news.
And next in Health Watch, why school vision screenings might not be enough to make sure your child's eyes stay healthy. Topping today's Health Watch, there's a possible breakthrough in the fight against drug-resistant superbugs. A decades-long investigation out of Duke University found a new antibiotic strategy to defeat bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli. Scientists developed a synthetic molecule that attacks the outer layer of the bacteria, destroying it by jamming its system. They say the next step is to test the molecule's safety and efficacy in humans. Long-term use of some acid reflux drugs could have a link to dementia. A study of nearly 6,000 people found those who took what's called proton pump inhibitors for 4.5 years or more had a 33% higher risk of developing dementia than people who never took the drugs. Researchers say people should speak to their doctor before making any changes to their treatment plans. Parents have a long to-do list as kids head back to school. You know that if you're a parent, but there's something important many might be overlooking. Annual visits to the eye doctor can help prepare kids for the classroom. Reporter Bradley Blackburn explains why school vision screenings might not be enough.
3-year-old Zoe is starting preschool this year, and her mom Anna knows how important it is for her daughter to see clearly.
Because I don't want her to have headaches, I don't want her to have confusion, I don't want her to feel left behind. I just want her to be as comfortable as possible.
Zoe recently started wearing glasses. She picked the color.
What did you choose?
Papa. 1 out of 4 children in the U.S. has a vision disorder that needs to be diagnosed and treated, according to the American Optometric Association. That's why Dr. Viola Konevsky says a comprehensive eye exam like this is critical, once a year.
Just like they're growing, their eyes growing with them.
Most states require schools to conduct some type of vision screening, but eye doctors say it's no substitute for a full exam.
In fact, the AOA says school screenings miss up to 75% of kids with vision problems, which can lead to issues in a child's development, school performance, and self-esteem.
We're looking at the retina and the optic nerve and the macula and the lens of the eye.
Dr. Konevsky says kids' eyes should be checked in infancy and then annually starting at age 3 to 5.
7 is pretty much the end of a very, very critical period in the child's visual development.
If caught early, some vision problems can be slowed or even cured.
We brought her in April and her vision's already improving.
A back-to-school test that can be fun for kids.
That was so good.
And give them a sharper, clearer future. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
This is interesting. Doctors say nearsightedness has increased dramatically as kids use more screens and electronic devices. We all know that eating veggies is good for us, but a new study says it could play a part in lung health. Researchers in Denmark found that people with low levels of vitamin K, which is in leafy greens and some grains, are more likely to have asthma and other lung issues. Scientists say they're now looking at the possible benefits of vitamin K supplements for people with lung disease. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, why the NOAA is updating its hurricane season forecast, expecting it to be even more.
Plus, our temperatures are going to start to increase once again. We're going to be looking at that coming up. Well, a pretty good day for us today. Temperatures great. Most of us upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Sunny skies all day long after the showers and thunderstorms that we needed. Pushed through during the all day long, really, yesterday. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Now it's Thursday. On Thursdays, our updated drought tracker comes out. And of course, we want to pay attention to this because the entire 4 states, we need some rain. Now, our very far southern counties, you're good. And then from Grove over to Knoll, Pineville, it's just a little bit dry. And then it gets drier as you go farther north. So you can still see the extreme drought, Vernon County, Bourbon County over towards Chanute, and then our far western counties. If we zoom into the metro, Neosho looks pretty good. It's just a moderate drought from Joplin, and it gets a little bit worse once you get up toward Pittsburgh. But we need all the rain we can get, but at least we got some good amounts into the area yesterday. 87 in Stockton, it's 90 in Anderson, 90 in Miami, 90 in Parsons. Pittsburgh is sitting at 87 degrees, but look at the heat. It's building down through Texas. This heat is going to head north toward us once we go into the daytime hours for us tomorrow. That's why we got the heat advisory in effect. Currently it's 90, it feels like 93, dew point at 67. Whenever that gets above 70 in the summer months, that's when it really starts feeling pretty soupy outside. Throughout the evening, if you want to get outside, looks good, falling back through the 80s, 70s, near 70 for us later on tonight. But clear skies, not too much going on here. We will get a few thunderstorms late tonight just to our south, but besides that, we're waiting for our next little wave out across parts of Wyoming that is going to give us showers and thunderstorms, at least scattered, as we go into Friday night and Saturday morning. All right, let's go through time tonight. We'll stop at about 7 a.m., upper 60s to near 70, clear skies. We'll get partly sunny skies by noon, temperatures already into the upper 80s, and then we go to about 95 or 96 for most of us by tomorrow afternoon. We could see an isolated shower, a thunder shower in our western counties. Tomorrow night, scattered thunderstorms, Kansas and Oklahoma. These are going to slide mainly in the southern half of the 4-state area. So this isn't going to be widespread rain, but we are going to get some showers and thunderstorms in here, especially the farther south that you live. So we could start the day Saturday a little bit on the wet side, and then we'll clear out, and all Saturday really looks pretty good. Another hot one, and then chances for thunderstorms once again as we go into Saturday night. All right, day planner for you tomorrow. 73 to start, 90 by noon, high temp of 95. But check this out, heat indices, 105, 106, 107 for us by the time we head into tomorrow afternoon. Heat indices up there again on Saturday. So if we look at the weekend, high of 94 Saturday, 95 on Sunday, morning thunderstorms each day, and the heat index near 105 all the way through the weekend. Alert day tomorrow due to the heat advisory in effect. 96 for a high, 94 on Saturday, 95 on Sunday. Monday, it's cooler, a nice day back into the 80s.
Yeah, highs in the 80s sound pretty good in August.
Yes, it does.
Here. Thanks, Doug. The nation's leading hurricane experts have updated their outlook for the Atlantic hurricane season, predicting even more activity than they expected back in May. Officials with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration today announced 14 to 21 named storms could materialize before the end of the year, with as many as 5 becoming major hurricanes. NOAA blames the above normal activity on global heat waves and warmer ocean temperatures.
Major hurricanes are hurricanes that reach category 3, 4, or 5 with winds of 111 miles per hour or greater. These ranges take into account the 5 named storms, including one hurricane, that already formed this season.
The hurricane season typically peaks in August through October and officially ends November 30th. Don't know if the hurricanes got the memo on that. Coming up, a look at what's driving inflation back up after a year of steady decline. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the latest government data shows inflation edged up slightly after 12 straight months of declines. But that bump up conceals more encouraging numbers hidden in the details. Reporter Michael George explains.
The dough at Amy Shermer's bakery is rising, and the costs of some of her key ingredients are falling. The founder of Amy's Bread says eggs are now about half of what they were at the height of inflation.
We go through so many eggs that might save us $5,000 a week.
Government data out Thursday shows consumers actually paid prices that were 3.2% higher in July than a year earlier, and up a mild 0.2% from June. But underneath that banner,
we saw a lot of things come down more than analysts had hoped for. This is good news.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, driving that July increase, housing costs, which rose 0.4%, up 7.7% from a year ago. But analysts say even those figures are lagging.
Rents nationally, on average, are lower than they were a year ago. And we expect that those kinds of movements in the downward pressure on shelter will show up later this year in the government report.
Core prices, which exclude food and energy, are still heading in the right direction, and that could help convince the Federal Reserve to pause on additional rate hikes next month. Stocks rallied on those hopes early Thursday, but if inflation has proven anything, it's stubborn and slow to budge. One major decline could put some wind beneath your wings. If you're looking to squeeze in a late summer vacation, airfare is down 18.6%, and hotel costs have eased. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The index is based on average prices over the month, so July's heat-driven gas prices, those hikes will likely have more of an impact on August's inflation data. New data shows new jobless claims are up. According to the Department of Labor, 248,000 people filed for new unemployment benefits last week. That's an increase of 21,000 from the previous week and about above the 230,000 claims economists expected. The number of people seeking benefits for more than a week fell slightly. Economists expected that number to also go up. More and more Americans are failing to make payments on their credit cards and auto loans. A report from Moody's Investors Service this week indicates delinquencies of at least 30 days are past pre-COVID levels. It shows new credit card payment lapses rose 0.7% between the first and second quarter. For recent auto delinquencies, that increase is 0.4%. Current oil production in the U.S. could shatter the all-time record set 4 years ago. Government estimates released this week project American oil output could hit an average of 12.8 million barrels per day this year for the first time ever. That's about 500,000 barrels per day more than the annual record set back in 2019. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, an artificial intelligence might provide a solution to concerns about deep sea mining. Then on KOAM News at 6, how some area businesses are stepping up to help workers soon to be out of a job as the Tyson plant in Knoll is set to close. Plus, we're going to have more on an organization helping local veterans get access to health care benefits. And as we continue our preview into the upcoming high school football season, we're going to check in with Carl Junction as they look to build with a new head coach. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Kind of warm out there, I guess, but overall pretty pleasant evening, Doug.
Yeah, not a bad day. High temps today were right around 90 degrees, and we go up for tomorrow. Heat advisory in effect, so that's why it's an alert day. High temp at 96. Heat indices about 106, 107 for us tomorrow. Some scattered thunderstorms into the weekend.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.